Hello and welcome to Camping with Tim, Wild Camping Cliches.
Now, we've sat and we've basically compiled a list of what we think are typical camping cliches, and we put them down and we're basically going to ask each other in turn the question. Now, one's going to be odds, one's going to be evens. So if you've got a good memory, as mine, I say I've got two sticks of one small, one large. So should we say the small one?
The small one would be odds, yeah.
And the big one be evens.
Yeah.
So I'm going to scramble them up. And would you like to choose a stick, Tim?
That one. Okay, so I got the small one. So
you're on odds.
Odds,
so you're starting on one, and we'll show the camera that. Big stick, little stick.
Big stick, little stick. So I start. Okay, so the first one is Ultralight, which is either taking nothing but kind of a handkerchief for shelter and hamster farts to eat, and eating nothing but earth, and kind of being really painfully ultralight. Or the other side, which is taking everything, including the kitchen sink. which is Paul, an idiot outdoors, definitely. And I'm kind of somewhere in between the two of these, because I use a fair amount of ultralight, but I've kind of moved away from that because it gets to a point where your back hurts with like the ultralight packs and you can't use them for a long distance, and so there's kind of always a trade-off. So what do you say about this?
One word, Tim. One word. Comfort.
Comfort, yeah.
Right. I like my chair. I like my table. Not doing anybody harm.
True.
But you saw me sweating like...
Yeah.
I don't know what, coming up that hill.
Sweating cobs, as my dad always says.
I'd say sweating like a pig, but one, I don't want to offend anybody who likes pigs, and two, we all know pigs can't sweat. They don't have sweat glands. That's why they roll in mud, to keep cool.
Yeah.
Fact. Oh, walking shots. Yeah, I mean, Tim, I've done this.
I've done
and
this.
I soon got bored of it. You're basically walking to your location. Oh. You take the time to put the camera down, and then you walk past it, pause it, turn it round, and you walk away out the distance.
And the bit you edit out is when you run back and get the camera.
Yes. Yeah, it was great. And then the more I watch and the more I see, I think, it's just been done. Overdone. And now it's just crispy brown.
And I find it interesting that anybody who does really long distance hiking, like they do, like like Moaning did with his cross the country, he didn't do it in those videos, and I asked him about it, and he said, well, yeah, literally there isn't time, and also the security of the camera, because you're in maybe a sketchy location. It's very much something I find that people who are hiking either in very remote locations, so there's no one around, or they're kind of doing quite short hikes. They do that because they've got time to do it, leisurely, you can do it. Whereas if you're doing like 100 miles, you stop doing it. Lying about the location, well, it's not so much lying, but it's kind of being sketchy that you say, I'm in a really wild location, I'm on the top of this mountain, the top of this tour in the Peak District, I'm very kind of remote, and then it all goes wrong and they bail, and you find out their car is parked 2 miles away or 1 mile away, and they've just walked up from the car park. That happens a lot. And with these wilderness campers, it's less so much stealth camp, because obviously you're going to camp nearby, but with wild camping, in a remote location, you think, oh, they're remote, but they're not. So there is a lot that goes on with, like, people are like, oh, they're making it more wild than it really is.
I'm guilty of getting my car as close as I can to somewhere I want to camp. I don't lie about any of it. I will actually admit that, yes, I've dropped off some stuff.
Yeah.
Usually after go outdoors, I've dropped off first.
Yeah.
But, by the way, other camping shops are available.
Yeah.
We're not endorsed by Go Outdoors, it's just off the top of the head. But yeah, I'm guilty of going along, getting as close as I can somewhere, getting the pack, putting the pack somewhere, hiding the pack, pinpoint the pack on my maps, and then go along then with my little pack with my food, bag of swag, Yeah, so, but I don't lie about
But
it.
you don't, yeah, you don't. But it's kind of different for a kind of like a one night stealth camp. But I think it's more the fact that when people are claiming that they're in some middle of nowhere, and actually they're not, because they can always go to their car, which is a mile away, which means it's like, is that really a remote location if you've got your car to go to? It's not really. It's not like me when I walk like 100 miles and then I'm literally in the middle of a forest in the middle of nowhere and I've got
By the
no
way,
backup.
check out the backdrop.
Yeah, camo backdrop. It's not the same when it's kind of, it's like, yeah, I've literally got no backup and I'm in this forest and it's raining and I'm 5 miles from anywhere.
And I know with you, because I've watched the videos and I felt your pain when you're got about that much water and it's a choice of is it going to be the tap working when you get to the next town, or you're going to have to suck water from a stream.
Yeah, which is River Thames water. Lovely.
Tent time lapse or sped up.
Yeah,
I've done it.
I've done it. Yeah,
I've done it. And then you watch it back after, you think, oh, that looks great. And then the more you've watched it again because you've done, I don't know, a live stream or whatever, you come and you think,
do I really need that?
this looks like Benny Hill setting up the tent.
Yeah. I have actually used that music, but I was with setting up a chair. But yeah. I quite like. There's one of the YouTubers, Stephen J. Reed. He just throws out the fly sheet and then just makes a whoop noise, and the tent just appears. I think that's a nice way of doing it.
That's clever.
And I think if you're setting up for the first time, like you're showing how the tent is set up, I think it's fine. But if you do it all the time, then it's just like, it's a bit like, yeah, do we need to see this again? Any of that tent set up, it's a bit like, once you've done it once, you don't need to do it again.
You know what makes me laugh with the sped up thing as well?
Yeah.
You'll see them doing the tent, and every now and again it's a little. Oh, you count how many times they look at the camera.
Yeah. Am I still?
And we're still recording.
Am I still recording? I'm still recording. The next one is kind of related to that. It's kind of reviewing the tent, but reviewing the tent badly because you've only ever put it up once. Or kind of what my real bugbear, which is what I call backyard backpacking. When you see the same backdrop, like if we use this backdrop all the time, we don't. But you see this. But you when you see the same backdrop, like the same location, it's kind of a bit like, not exactly lying about, it's sort of related to the lying about location shot, which is like which is the fact that you see the same location in every one of their videos and you think, are you really testing these things? Because you're going to your garden, your local park, the same area to show, to do a gear review of this tent. Are you really using it? Because it's always in the same place. It's like you need to use it. So why am I always seeing the same location in every of the review videos?
My bugbear when you do these tent reviews, they get it out for the first time. Ooh, good features. Ooh, boof, put it up, and you look straight away. That is not set up correctly at all. Why are your guy lines going that way when your poles are that way?
Yeah.
And your poles are actually going inwards, sagging.
Yeah.
Right. So for argument's sake, you set something up. You obviously want the poles being pulled slightly apart. That gives you tension in the fly sheet, so any rain runs off.
Yeah.
So straight away, you cannot give an honest review if you can't set something up properly.
Yeah.
So somebody could watch that and think, "Whoa, that's a really horrible," and it's not. And I've seen it so many times, and it's a common mistake with like tunnel tents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or another one where somebody says, well, why do these tie on instead of being clipped on? Well, it ties on for the simple reason the clips would make it really floppy. Tying it brings the actual fly sheet straight to the actual poles themselves. And the idea of actually being able to say the Fox 1 or 2 for instance, which I've had experience with, the idea is you can actually completely remove the fly sheet. So you can't say, well, that's a bad feature because they're tight. Oh, it takes me an extra 30 seconds to make a tie.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tie your shoelaces. Do you give your shoes a bad review because they're not Velcro?
Well, it's the same with a nature hike. I've noticed people complaining about the high sides, but they obviously don't know that there's a clip. You clipped in on the outer.
I picked up on that though, and you put me right on it.
Yeah, and then there's actually you can use there's like a little guy line on each one, and you can actually use it two ways. And there's one way that's got a loop at the end, which is long. But then if you pull it away the other way, you can actually you've got a shorter loop, which I think is part of the design. So you can actually shorten
So
that.
it actually pulls it in like that?
Yeah, well, it's like it's less out, so it's more lower. It's not as low as I'd like. I think you could mod it to make it lower, but it's kind of like there are design features there, and I think a lot of people miss that in a lot of tents. If you've just put it up the first time, people will see from my first pitch video, I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? But yeah, you miss it. You miss things the first time. You've got to pitch it several times to get it.
But I think the bottom line is you can't be doing gear reviews on something you've used for the first time, set it up wrong, you've had a bad night with it. If you've used it for 3 or 4 camps and each time you got better at it,
yeah,
I can accept that.
That's the reason why in my tent review I went like, here's me doing a backyard backpacker pitch in my local park. Okay, I want to show it actually being used, because without that it's kind of a meaningless review.
Where's this? Sorry, too much light.
Yeah,
we're only on question 4.
Yeah,
or should I say 5? Because
5, yeah.
Too much light, turn up too early. I'm guilty of this.
Yeah, with your head torch, with your nuclear sun head torch.
Somebody has said overnight in one of the comments about my little stealth camp.
Yeah.
Stealth camp, then he lights a barbecue and it's like a beacon.
Yeah.
Well, in my defence, I did wait for the stores to shut and everybody had gone home, so the only people who'd really see it if somebody was walking past, but at that time it had gone pretty dead.
Yeah.
And by the time the barbecue had, obviously the flames had gone down, I was alright again.
Yeah.
But I did have sort of the bush for some sort of cover, but yeah. And another one is I'm terrible with my head torch. It's just like a big search and rescue beacon.
I mean, my one has like a setting which is like last night, like search, yeah, like just like nuke, yeah, and yeah, also setting up too early, which I think is my bugbear on that one, which is when you see people saying I've been busted, and you can see that they've set up in the afternoon, and it's like obviously certain locations you can get away with that, but if it's kind of anywhere stealthy, if you're setting up like in the afternoon or lunchtime, you're like here. You get families coming through, so
and loud motorbikes.
And loud motorbikes, yeah.
That's why I like the winter, because you can get there as early as 4.
Yeah.
When it's really dark, when it starts getting really dark, get in, and you can have a peaceful stealth camp. Nobody'd even know you're there as long as you ain't blinding people like I do. Molly's always saying to me, "Shut your lights off, shut your lights off." But because it's not in my eyes, who cares?
But it's why I use the red light, because the red light is usually dimmer and spreads less. But people will see it, but it doesn't spread as much.
Now, we did the Peak District the last time, and you guys all went over to the midge-free zone.
Yeah.
I comes walking over. Hello, guys. Light on full. Oh, hello. Let's go to that guy with all the light on.
Yeah. Well, you were a very useful midge magnet, I think.
If you guys says go over there, we put you some Stellas over there.
We should have. Got to get drunk. Oh, you got to have lots of tinnies. Like, why did you go all the way over there to just to drink? And it's true. It's like you don't necessarily have to drink to wild camp. I mean, Molly doesn't drink, and it's like this idea you've got to get really lathered up, and that is a lot. It's, I think, more in stealth camping than
guilty.
Yeah.
That time at the Peak District, what else was there to do?
Yeah,
like, bite.
That was. Well, I got drunk on that one.
I just got on the tequila tin.
Yeah, well, me too.
And I had a whiskey.
Yeah,
and I don't normally drink whiskey.
Yeah. That I shouldn't have brought the whiskey out. But on that camp, it was just
and you saved my life.
Yeah, I know. You went over an edge.
And I moaned about you saving my life.
Yeah, it was an eventful camp. But yeah, it was. I think it was good. It was a legitimate response to a bad camp. But yeah.
Now, like it makes me laugh when you get people that make it look all so serious. Got the pack on, and they got carrier bags with them.
Yeah.
They're not serious campers. They're huffing and puffing, going up this halfway up a mountain, and the next thing you know, oh, I've come here for the views. Oh, look at that, it's beautiful. Oh, look at that. Next thing you know, they're absolutely smashed. You're like, yeah, did you see the sun go down? How many was there? 2? You didn't go there to look at the views. You went there to get absolutely blitzed.
Yeah. I think the Peak District is the only one I've actually done that, where I've actually, but I didn't go there to get blitzed. It just happened because of the midges. The midges.
I always have a paranoia that I'm gonna be enjoying myself, and I think I'm gonna run out of beer. So I do tend to. I mean, I've got loads of beers left in there that I ain't touched. Oh, you've got a beer in that pack, by the way, Tim.
Yeah. I've got a drink. Yeah, I didn't have last night.
Going off subject there, sorry.
Yeah.
And the danger as well, sorry, of going halfway up a mountain and getting absolutely.
Yeah, how do you get down?
What happens if you have an accident?
You can't exactly call search and rescue saying I'm drunk on a mountain. Help!
I've broke my leg and I'm absolutely poleaxed.
You sort of GPS button. There's a GPS button saying I'm drunk.
At least if I'm only in the local woods, phone the missus. I know you're going to be mad at me, but I'm smashed and I've hurt myself. I can't remember where I am. Tail between my legs.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
Where are we at? Sorry.
Gotta have a.
If I talk like this, Molly, it doesn't count, does it? Remember when we was in the KFC and I was on about if you have calories that you're not supposed to be having, and this is for people who are on a diet. If you say it like that, it doesn't really count, does it? So, sorry, Molly, this is what you get for not turning up. We love you, really, man. At Camping Rules, okay. You ain't following him? Get on his channel. Having a fire. Gotta have a fire. There are guys out there. Can I take my hand away yet?
Yeah.
There are guys out there. If you ain't got a fire on the go, you ain't really camping. You can turn up to a camp and have a cheese sandwich. You've got a tent. You've got somewhere to, sleep, whether it be a tent, tarp, bivouac, hammock. That's camping. Camping is obviously the art of staying sheltered from the elements, comfortable, and it's basically camping is a temporary shelter while you sleep. If you want to have a fire, by all means, but some people have got to have a fire. What do you say, Tim?
I agree with this. It's like the idea that it's like, do you have to have a fire every time? But I understand as well. There's like an art to it, and you're showing that art and everything. But I want to try to do no cook hiking, where I don't take, especially in summer at some point, and just kind of go and not have a stove or anything like that. I almost did that on a recent hike because I ran out of fuel.
What are you going to eat? Cheese sandwiches?
Yeah, so cheese sandwiches and like that. Because in summer it doesn't matter. You don't need to have, you don't really need to have.
Then you're going to have to do the obligatory: get the chopping board out, get the cheese. Everybody has to know how to make a sandwich on your channel. Before they watch the YouTube, they'd never have had any inspiration for a cheese sandwich.
This is a wild camping cheese sandwich. This is special.
Why, are they better?
Yeah, apparently.
And everybody's all. Oh, sorry. While we're on about the food subject, you can't have. I've never met anybody who does a camp who doesn't have something to eat. Oh, it tastes so much better outside.
Yes. I think I've done
suddenly, my taste buds have gone into camp mode. Mmm.
But have you ever actually eaten the same food at home and gone, oh, this isn't that nice? I've done that.
I think it's just the fact that you're outdoors and obviously the air's fresh.
And also, if you've done a long hike, it's like it's all you have. So of course it's delicious because it's the only food you have. So you go, oh, this is amazing. But
that could be another one. Lying about how good your food tastes, even when you've burnt it and it tastes like rubbish.
Following on from that is expensive meals. Those dehydrated meals. Yeah, I really can't. I'm not a fan of those. I've tried them, and they were absolutely dreadful. They're like 10 quid, 10 quid each. For those fire pot meals, and they weren't any better than the kind of like the sort of 4 quid, 3 quid risottos you get at the supermarket. Or then they were chewy, and it's like I just don't get it. And also the wastage. You've got the wastage of the little Mylar packets. But you can't reuse them, and it's just they can't recycle them. Bad. What are you going to say about this?
I've covered this in my video in the past, and I've had a bit of a rant. And I remember where I had that rant, and it was when I did a Wicks stealth camp.
Yeah.
I'd fell asleep in the chair all night, didn't even make it into the tent, so I was asleep like doing the luge. I can't remember whether the rant was in the morning or after, on about these meals.
Yeah.
10 quid for a meal, when you can just go around your local supermarket and there's all manner of stuff you can empty out of a tin and put into a Ziploc bag, squeeze the air out the last minute, and they'll flat pack into your pack. You ain't got to carry the weight of a tin. God, could you imagine how convenient that could be to just having to open a ring back can and pour it into a zip? Oh God.
Yeah.
No, you'd rather pay somebody 10 quid to eat rubber.
And I just find, like, I do the same thing. Ziploc bag, like noodles, pasta. There you are. You know, okay, it's not as convenient, and maybe it takes a little bit more fuel, but in my experience, it actually tastes a lot better, and it just doesn't taste chewy. It's chewy.
Ooh, all day breakfast. Oh, you couldn't possibly have one of them unless it come out of one of them special, like, £8 packets. Could you? You couldn't buy a tin of Heinz all day breakfast, open that up, put it into, job done.
Yeah, exactly.
You could probably buy 3 for what it cost you for a...
Yeah, definitely. They are so expensive, those meals, and I find that actually you have them.
We won't even start on the puddings.
Well, it's like you have them and you're still hungry, I found.
We had about McDonald's now.
No, but it's like you have. I think I had one of those meals and I still felt hungry after it. It was like, this is not very. It says 500 calories, and it's like, no.
Hearing noises. How many times do you watch a camping video and somebody, what was that? Well, can you hear that? Or you'll get like somebody who's never been in the woods before, and they get the muntjac barking. And they're like, oh, and on the thumbnail, I've never been so scared.
I've done this when I first started wild camping. I was like, what is that noise? I mean, it's like, I think on my first wild camp here, I was freaked out. There was like raining, and then the sound of like big drops of rain or things spilling down onto the tent and the floor. It didn't sound like just rain. It was like choom, 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 and I wasn't used to that noise. And I was like, what is that? And it was just rain.
I think if you're new to camping and you go into the woods, you've got to understand you are not alone in the woods. And I don't mean that you're going to have some mad axe murderer come at you. I mean, you might do. I don't know where you live.
Michael.
But you might have what's his name?
Michael Burns.
You might
have Michael Burns.
Stream last night.
Yeah.
Threatening to come and.
He didn't turn up. Didn't turn up at all. Very disappointing.
We're still here.
Yeah, we're still waiting for him.
I'm going to give him till, I don't know what time it is. I'm going to give him another hour, I reckon, Tim.
Yeah.
If you don't turn up, it's his loss, ain't it?
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, noises in the woods. You've got to understand, a lot of the animals in the woodlands are nocturnal. They come out at night. So as you go to sleep, they wake up. You'll hear mice scurrying around. You'll hear badgers, if there's badgers in there. You'll hear muntjacs. I've had roe deer run past my camp.
Yeah, I've had that.
And when they bolt past, you know they bolt past.
Oh, it's scary. It sounds like a bunch of runners, like Olympic runners, going past your tent. It's like, whoa!
You get foxes. You'll get stuff sniffing at your tent. If you leave your food rubbish out, you can have something investigate that in the night. You can hear them rattling around. Noisy slugs or mice. Yeah. Do what I always do and forget to hang the bag up every time. Always forget.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add to the?
Well, probably more the fact that the people who specialise in that sort of thing, where they, what was that noise? And I've sort of done it in a video, but I haven't kind of made it the thumbnail. You know, when they do all the whole spooky noises thing. That kind of gets me. It's okay if it's something that is really unusual, like someone came and shouted at my tent at 3 a.m. But if it's just like you listen to it and you go, oh well, that's just deer. Why did you clickbait it and make it a big thing of like, is this a ghost? No, it's deer. Is this a woodland spirit? No, it's deer.
Now, I don't believe in ghosts. But I do believe in lots of animals who live in them woods.
Yeah.
If you don't like the noises they make, then it's not for you, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
You're in their territory.
And that took me a while to get. It took me a couple of camps to get used to it. But after a while, you just go, if it's not going to light and it doesn't sound like it's got 2 legs, it's not human, it's a deer or something else, and we get this question all the time in live saying, aren't you scared? And it's like, no, you just get used to it. You just get used to.
I've had that ever since I've done the channel. Ain't you scared in the woods?
And you scared in the woods?
Right.
So scared of
I'm
what?
probably safer in the woods at 11 p.m. than I am in town on a Saturday night at the same time.
Yeah.
More chance of getting my head kicked in walking down a high street than I am sat in the woods. Nobody knows I'm there.
Very true. Extreme camping. People who have to go out in a storm at minus temperatures, kind of like like on the top of a mountain during a hurricane, and it's like, I kind of understand it if you're testing the equipment, but it's a thing where people are like, oh, how extreme can I go? And it's dangerous, and I don't really know why. I know why people do it. It's kind of like, oh, I'm being so, but again, they're quite often about a mile from their car, so.
But you do get them who do actually genuinely end up in trouble.
Yeah, but usually it's people that kind of the ones I don't mind is where it's obviously they didn't intend to go out there. But if you intend to get out there and then you've got to call the mountain rescue, you're an idiot if you need to do that. It's like, don't put yourself in peril and then intentionally and then have to call the mountain rescue.
I was about to say that, because if you get into trouble, someone's got to come find you and rescue you.
Yeah,
and if it's bad conditions,
they're putting themselves at risk. So yeah, that's what annoys me about that. And it's either it's like actually they're not actually in peril and they're building it up and it's clickbait, or all they are doing something dangerous, and then it's like, don't do that, because that could end up badly for everyone. So yeah, not a fan of that at all. Do you want to add anything to that?
I just see it as a storm chasing.
Yeah, it is.
And it's starting to get a lot of negativity now, and people are starting to actually realise, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Or you ain't got the correct equipment for that, or...
Yeah. I know, and I am not a fan of it, and it is basically chasing that sort of spectacle on YouTube, and it's like, really?
My absolute favourite.
Yeah.
Absolute favourite. So, when you woke up this morning, Tim...
Yeah?
What did you do? Did you wake up, get up, set your tripod up, press record, and then did you go, ooh, just woke up, morning?
No.
Dramatics.
No, I did not do that. I actually, all I did is just take out my camera and go, actually, hello morning to the camera. I didn't set up the tripod and the microphone and then pretend to get up again. No.
I mean, I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm in the morning shot I do it, and it's like something I habitually do, but it is a bit of a cliche in itself, but I kind of do it any time, and sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. But yeah, the idea that, especially when you've got like shot outside of the tent of them in there, and you know that there's no way they've set it up beforehand, like they've got some kind of remote control camera that can suddenly switch off from there.
Motion sensor.
Yeah, you haven't just woken up in your tent, like you say. You've gone and set up the tripod outside your tent, and then you're going, oh wow, is the camera really there?
I've seen videos where you've got girls camping.
Yeah.
Quite clickbaity camping, wearing next to nothing, and you're like, is this how you you've got like 1.3 million views because basically you're wearing very little. But they do the same thing. They wake up and there's not a bit of hair out, no mascara anywhere. They just woke up like a porcelain doll.
Yeah.
Wow. Smell a rat?
Yeah. You didn't do your makeup beforehand, and yeah.
You didn't pop next door to the beauty salon and then back in the tent. Oh hello, I've just woken up, and I look always this perfect.
I've seen that in even very big channels where they do especially like they're doing a tent review, and they're like, oh, the next day, or they're like doing it overnight, and it's like, yeah, it's shot, especially the shot outside the tent. You're like, yeah, you set up the tripod outside, and then you set up your microphone here, and that's all ready. You didn't go to bed with your microphone on, did you? No.
And another one you get is when you see they've obviously got you've got the tent, and then another shot will be the tent opening. So they've basically got out to put the tripod in, then they've got back in the tent, shut the tent up, open the tent, they've been crawling out, doing all this,
Unless they got a film crew. Unless they got a film crew that actually wait. There might be a. Unless they've got a film crew that actually waited outside all night.
I'm not constipated, but that sleep pad. Ooh, I've only used it once, but it's atrocious.
But don't you know every wild camp has a film crew waiting outside their door just for the wait?
Why.
Yeah.
Every now and again you see the sound boom dropping. I always thought it was a bit canny.
Yeah.
They've got like a selfie stick with a sound boom.
Yeah, a sound boom, and occasionally you see the sound guy wandering into shot. Yeah.
And the clacker board.
Yeah.
I don't think we've answered these questions, Tim. I think we've obliterated these questions.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a quick in-out jobby.
Oh, this is one I'm really guilty of. Moaning about bugs and slugs and things outdoor. That is me. That is me. Yeah, I spend a lot of time moaning about slugs. I don't mind beetles. I'm a big fan of beetles, but spiders and slugs I do not like at all. And I do think a lot of these times I'm like, why am I even an outdoors YouTuber if I'm... People have said this to me. Why are you doing an outdoors YouTube channel if you don't like slugs and bugs?
Because you deal with it. You just have to deal with it.
Yeah. And I had one that snuck into the tent last night on my sleeping my sitting pad. I know. And I was like, out. But I had to evict the slugs.
Evict the slugs.
Yeah. I had to evict the slugs. But yeah.
I picked up on that on my channel. I had to evict a slug.
Yeah. But it is true that like this is the thing. If you're going out into the outdoors, it will happen. Midges will happen. You just have to be as prepared as possible. And it's kind of strange when people don't seem to accept that. Yeah, there are deer and midges and ticks and these things do exist. It's the reason why I've got you probably can't see this, but I've actually got my trousers in, because it's a deer area around here. I've seen them over there. I've got my trousers and my socks just to be like, oh, yep, avoid the ticks.
That is why I like elasticated bottoms.
Yeah.
I don't ever wear loose bottoms if I can help it when I'm camping.
Have you got anything?
When it's colder, it's good because I can wear my inners tucked into my socks and then my outers. I just look normal. Yes, I've been waiting for this one. If you want to hear a guy say things like, "Oh, die slug," or "Oh, I'm going to evict you," get out. Just random outbursts when you're camping with this guy. you know, and this guy has got finely cricked and tuned ears for slug. He can hear them munching.
I can hear them eating.
He can hear them coming in a half a mile square.
Oh yeah,
radius,
seriously.
Like as if they're coming in a horde to get him.
Well, they do come in hordes to get him. You noticed last night they were like, oh, it's like, yeah.
You imagine the most drawn out Jaws theme. Like I can just imagine in Tim's mind, we've got all these slugs, big black betties. That was the last ones we've seen, weren't they?
Yeah.
With
luckily the ones
a
last night.
Dorsal fin on them, each one with a dorsal fin, and all you can hear, Tim can hear is da da da.
Yeah.
And obviously the music has to reflect the speed of the slug.
Yeah.
But then you've got Tim battening up the hatches.
No, get the salt out.
Fences,
salt.
Sachets of salt. It's almost
Yeah. I mean, but even last night, I remember you actually had one on your zipper of your jacket. Because I remember last night I went, ugh. Yeah, it was like, and I managed to avoid them getting on me for some reason, but they got on my sleep mat, and I was worried about them getting in the food. So it's like, literally, as soon as we finished the live feed last night, it's like everything goes into the tent. I'm glad I did, because the water bottle last night, I got the water bottle, brought it in, I was like, what's that? And they were all on the water bottle. And I was like, oh no, I should have banged the water bottle before I brought it in the tent.
You should have put some salt around it.
Yeah, I should have. I
love it when you get a bit of salt on a slug. It's like, I'm dying. And they start foaming like.
Oh, never do that when they're on your stuff. I've done this.
And then afterwards you think, I feel so bad now.
I feel bad,
It's got to be the most gruesome.
It's horrible. Sorry, slug.
Basically, their moisture's just drawn out of them.
Yeah, ooh,
they end up becoming like a twiglet.
And the last one, you've got the best one.
Oh, my favourite, the obligatory leave no trace.
Yes.
Like, if you've gone camping and you haven't said at the end of your video, leave no trace, we don't believe you've even been camping.
No, you haven't been
You wasn't
camping.
there. It was a green screen.
Yeah.
Like, this is a green screen, look. You can, look, it don't move, look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give it a whack, Tim. Oh, you've
Oh, it is real.
you ruined my green screen. But yeah, if you haven't said leave no trace or shown the obligatory bag of rubbish,
Yes. Not the bag of swag, the bag of crap.
the bag of rubbish, the
bag of crap.
Ding, 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 ding. Did you even camp?
Yeah, exactly. I know. I mean, it's a good. I would say this. It's a good message, but it has become a bit of a trope. Like, say, look, and I've done it in my videos. Like, here, look, here is the empty site. But it's also it's the default. You should do that anyway. So it's like, what do you expect me to do? Leave dead camping chairs and loads of tinnies? I mean, no, I'm not going to do that, am I? But yeah, I think it is a thing where people just feel like they have to do that to prove that wild camping is not going to leave a mess. And so it's become like this nervous tick, I think.
Look at this, Tim. It's just, you've got to pick up rubbish as well. You've got to pick up rubbish while you're there. Did you plant that there before we did it?
Yeah. I came to this location on Thursday and planted rubbish so I could clean it up. That's what happened.
To make yourself look like you're like the...
the Womble. I'm a Womble.
The do-gooder camper.
Yeah, I'm Mother Teresa, the Womble.
I think anybody who goes out, it should be an automatic thing that you're not going to be one of these people and leave burn marks in the ground and rubbish everywhere and, oh, my tent's broke, well, I don't need it. Leave it there.
Yeah. But it's sad that there's enough people who do that. You feel like you've got to reinforce it. But then it's like, do you have to do that in every video? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of vary on this. Sometimes I do. I put it in. Sometimes I don't.
I'm going to go back into character. As always, leave no trace. Sorry.
Leave no trace, everyone. Leave no
Anybody
trace.
who watches this now are going to be paranoid about 15 things they do when they go camping. We're going to change the whole face of camping.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't do a time lapse.
Yeah.
We're drinking orange juice because we're cool.
Or even River Thames War, definitely. But yeah, I think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap. Anything else you can think of before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's covered it all.
Leave no trace.
Leave no trace, everyone. And this is where we were camping. So actually, we're also showing out we didn't
This
leave.
is where Tim was.
Yeah.
This is where I was.
Has this clicked off again? Yep. There we are.
Been emotional,
Yep.
as always.
So this is where we were camping. So yeah, leave no trace, everyone.